I've got a little girl that needs her dad, and I wasn't giving up. I mean, I'm not typically that driven of a person. But I knew that if I gave up and I stopped, I would be stuck where I was at forever.
I really wanted things to just bounce back, but I would always get nervous and scared. I'd ask to play a game and he'd just not feel up to it.
I was weighing way too much. I decided to get sleeve surgery done. On September 18th, I had my sleeve surgery. A couple weeks after that, I started throwing up sometimes.
He was not eating and he just sat in his chair, and we were going to take him back to the doctor, and we didn't get very far out the door and he collapsed.
And after a few months of that, him not eating anything solid for upwards of three and a half months, he ended up becoming really weak and couldn't leave the hospital last time they tried to dismiss him. They kept arguing that they believed it was in his head and that he needed to just power through it. Well, the last time he couldn't walk out of the facility.
And as much as I wanted it to get better, I got more and more scared, not really knowing what was going to happen.
He was sedated heavily, couldn't talk or anything. He was just hooked up to so many machines. When I first walked in there, it was just a very dreary and sad place to be, and I was just it was very upsetting, and we weren't sure if Jeff was even going to make it through it at that point.
But I woke up kind of at the end of January, beginning of February, going, what's going on? I'm clean shaven and I can't walk. I can't barely do anything with my hand. Pretty much when I woke up, it was kind of like most of my body just wouldn't do anything at all. I could move my head around.
After that, they moved him to another recovery facility where he began to start to actually show some real improvement. They were doing therapy with him, and they were building up his arms and legs as much as they can. The arms, he's been building a lot of function back in those. His vocal cords started to recover from voice exercises from the therapists, and so he was there for a couple months, and he was making great improvements, but. And he continues to make improvements on his own, but they're much slower now that he's been moved to another facility and the insurance has stopped paying for therapy.
When I found out that he was starting to get the use of his hands back, he could talk again, but really just even full arm mobility, moving himself from a bed to a wheelchair, the fact that he couldn't use his legs, and that the Saline Nursing Home facility had very limited physical therapy for him, started to dawn on me that, things I take for granted, being able to get out of bed, being able to go to work, being able to have transportation here and there, those are all going to be difficulties for Jeff. But way beyond that is the fact that not only is he dependent on other people and assistance devices, but the world is not really set up for a handicapped person in terms of a normal home design.
He currently is not at a completely stagnant pace of healing, but he is slowed dramatically. The environment isn't as healthy as it was before, and so if we could provide him an uplifting location and a location closer to family and friends who could help him to continue his recovery, that's what the ultimate goal within the next 6 months would be, in my opinion.
So the idea is, can we as a community help this man get a home that's very affordable, and as a community build it, thanks to some help from our civil and architectural engineering students, and those of us with basic skill sets to go out in a few weeks and build him a house.
But the tiny house to me seems like a really neat idea. I had done a little research on tiny homes and thought it was pretty fascinating that, everything that you need in one little small area.
So we've got our civil architectural engineering department actually has 5 students and a dedicated professor that have all jumped in to help design a house specifically for Jeff's current abilities and hopefully his future abilities.
The more she's talked about it, the more excited I've gotten. I saw some rudimentary plans that got me kind of excited.
Some party or other. Here's all of us together.
I actually walked down his hallway yesterday and saw that there was a gift or something sitting on his desk, and I am looking forward to him coming back, because I would stop in and say hi, and I would see him out. We'd all take walks on our breaks and stuff, and it was nice to be able to see my brother.
My ultimate hope for Jeff is that he knows that we care, right? So I'm hoping that everything comes together beautifully and we have a home for him. He's able to get full mobility back. He comes back to work. We no longer have to remember him instead of see him. I hope we get to go back to joking and laughing and playing together. But even if not every single part of that happens, I want Jeff to know that he's valued and cared for and loved, and that he's very important to all of us.
Just being able to be home and being able to ask my dad if we want to take a walk or something, be able to take a walk and then come back and just be able to do whatever we felt like doing, be able to cook and play games and invite friends over and play board games or something. It doesn't have to be too much. Just the way things were before, where we just felt like we didn't have to worry about anything.
I just want to be able to take care of myself when I leave here. And if that means a tiny home and people are willing to help me, that is amazing, and I would be forever grateful.
As you can see, there's still Christmas stuff around. We're waiting till he comes home.